it out, no mic. You feel what I'm saying? No mic in the middle, just the headset. Yesterday, we went to go see. Y'all see the Marvel Rivals on the screen, but yesterday we went to go see the Thunderbolts. You dig what I'm saying? Thursday night premiere. They got good credit with us right now, man. With Marvel, what you think of that new joint?
I thought it was a good movie. So, but right now for me this year, Captain America came out this year, right?
Yeah,
in February.
The beginning of the year.
Yeah. So they're 2-2 with me right now. Like I didn't really have complaints about the movie, but they're definitely, I'll say, they're setting a standard again that I feel like had disappeared for a while.
What you mean?
As far as their stuff connecting, like I'm really like that. That really stuck with me. The fact that they finally. Is this a non-spoiler?
Yeah, no, it's spoiler. You can say whatever. This is a non-spoiler review, y'all.
Yeah,
so
I'm not gonna go.
We might say some spoilers. We might not.
Yeah.
So yeah, but go ahead.
Like I'm not about to sit up here and give y'all the whole synopsis, but I may say things. You know, the post credits for the last couple of things I feel like haven't connected, and we finally had a post credit scene that connected, and I'm very happy about that. So they're setting that standard of hey, things might start mattering again. Like as far as like the Marvel universe, because as of right now, we still have like a bunch of unanswered stuff going on in all different places of the world and the galaxy. Like I still have questions, but it'd be nice if we're heading on the road to connecting everything. I know some things aren't going to be, you know, they're just going to let some things go, like Kane, assuming we letting Kane go. But otherwise, I need everything to start connecting again.
Okay, that's a bad. I'm sending you something too. She definitely right. The Thunderbolts was definitely the movies this year had just been a fresher breath air. It's actually been stuff that's been connected. And they've been having good story. I think this joint was really based. I just tweeted you.
That's what
I really hold on, let me just tweet this real quick so I can. Okay, there we go. I really enjoyed this movie. I'm gonna pull out my notes right now. I'm not gonna go. We're gonna have a spoiler review this Monday with everybody. You feel what I'm saying? So definitely on the channel we're gonna have a live review of the Thunderbolts. But what I was gonna say is that my biggest light to this is that they are starting something new. You feel what I'm saying? With an Avengers team, we have not had a solid Avengers team in years. We were very trying to figure out like who's gonna be the next Avengers, who's gonna be the next it, and these bad guys / good guys are it, man. The movie was funny. Yeah. It flowed perfectly. Wasn't a lot of like messy parts or whatever. The characters were good. You know what I'm saying? But you know, obviously, you had to know a little bit about these characters before the movie actually started. But you know, they try to put like a little backstory in there, but it wasn't a lot.
It wasn't good enough for you to understand who these people are and why they are troubled and why they're loners and why they have all this trauma. Like you really don't know unless you watch shows and other movies.
Facts.
I can appreciate it being a story where.
Just put it on the camera. Put it under the camera. Yeah, everything.
Everything? Oh.
Yeah, go ahead, though. Sneaky. But, what were you saying?
I forgot. What were you talking about? Dang.
The movie.
I know. But, on one end, I'm happy that they didn't need to go through and introduce every character little by little, because that's why I feel like the Eternals, where they lacked, is because they had to sit up there and go through everybody's story. Granted, it was way more Eternals than Thunderbolts, but they had to go through all that. That made it a 3-hour movie, which I still think, sidebar, Eternals was a good movie. It was just too long.
Too long.
Because they had to go through everybody's story. So I can appreciate not having to give everybody's backstory. However, it sucks for people who haven't seen every single movie or seen every single show. Like the casual viewers.
And it's crazy because the casual viewer we noticed saw it, thought she knew the whole story. So
she called us trying to tell us if she hadn't seen Black Widow or Falcon and Winter Soldier's movie. I'm not even sure if she saw Ant-Man and Wasp to know Ghost. Nope. But I know for a fact we talked about how she didn't really know Yelena and Red Guardian, and she didn't know Evil Cap's story. She was just like, oh, okay, these are just people. Like, I had to explain to her how Yelena and Red Guardian, like, that's her dad, and that's why she was breaking down about You know, she lost her sister, and her father figure wasn't there for her.
Very emotional movie, by the way. Very emotional movie. This is probably the most emotional Marvel movie we done had in a long time.
In a long time, yeah. But see, it wasn't the type of emotional that would make you cry per se.
Not tears.
It was like some real stuff, like that you're like, dang, like I feel for this character in this moment for sure. Like, oh no. But no, I think like you said, like funny. Story was good. It wasn't a bunch of. I didn't feel like any unnecessary talking for real.
Yeah, it wasn't a bunch of fluff. One thing I can say, not to cut you off. One thing I can say, the past Marvel movies, there has been not a lot of fluff this year. Captain America, right to the point, to the story. This joint was literally boom, 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 boom. They didn't waste any time with the extra stuff, extra dialogue or get to know all of them through all these storylines. It was a lot of characters, and they made sure they kept it contained with main characters. Who do you think stood out of all the characters?
I gotta give it to my girl, Florence Pugh.
That's my girl. I'm part of the new fan club.
And that's Yelena, for you guys who don't know. That girl, this was her movie in my opinion, and she really acted. Like,
facts.
And then the emotional parts really came from her. And I believed her. I believed everything about what she was saying, where she is in life right now, and how she was feeling. It made sense of her feelings while she was connecting to Bob, who in turn is the villain named Sentry.
Sentry, the boy. If you see the trailers, just one bad thing I would like to say to shoot off the hip before you go back to Yelena. That was the only problem with this movie, is that they showed a lot of it in the trailers. Not too much, but the sequence of the movie was all in the trailer. Most of the main villain stuff was all in the trailer, which was my only bad for this movie, that the third act wasn't. They were trying to make it this Avengers type act, and it just didn't work.
Yeah, we want to touch on that too. After I just say this Yelena thing, that she stood out, and then
that last scene when she was saving them and she had to jump and stuff.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh!
They gave her
spoiler.
Like the emotion, they gave her the action, they gave her the funnies. They all were funny, but
they all was funny.
And that's why I was going to talk about John Walker too, Evil Cap. He was funny. He had good. I mean, like you said, all of them were funny. I can sit up here and be like,
even Ghost was funny.
Yeah.
Even she had some little jokes she was throwing in there, and they got to really show her off as a character.
Yeah, and let me tell you, she's a sleeper. I told him, like, when we first walked out of the theater, I'm like, yo, like, she go hard low key, like,
she gonna be able to do that.
Like, she is a really useful person. Like, she can fight, she can shoot, and she can do her phase and stuff. How do you beat her? I mean, I guess you could beat her with a bullet, but I think a bullet will stop her.
She definitely used some bullets too. Yeah. Non-spoiler alert. We're not gonna tell y'all that part, but
but yeah, I think, you know, they really kept up with the action too. Like, and that's what I told him. Like, when I went into the movie, I said, if it don't have anything else, the movie could have sucked, but I knew it was going to be action.
They action packed, yeah.
Because of who the character was, they was throwing their minkers, they was fighting, they was shooting, and I'll give them this. They was killing people. It wasn't like big gory, you know.
Like Deadpool.
Yeah, it wasn't like that, but they was putting people to sleep. People were going night-night. So, yeah. But I would like to touch on. What about you? Who stood out for you?
Of course, the person who stood out for me, of course, is Yelena. Definitely a super fan of hers with Yelena. I thought she carried it emotionally. With just being in this position she is, because she's kind of been in the mix with the MCU a little bit, and now she, like, even the main part of the story is Red Guardian trying to get her to step up into that, her role of, like, being like Black Widow, like her sister. Like, what is your opening moment as you as being a good person or a hero? Yeah. Like, how are you going to change the world? And I thought Red Guardian did a great job too. Yes. He does a great job adding on to the humor. But if I had to rank them, Yelena.
I'm going Red Guardian.
I say Yelena, Red Guardian, Walker, Sentry, Ghost, and then Bucky. Bucky was just there.
Yeah, he was just extra arm, extra muscle, literally some extra muscle, which is cool because that gave us 3 essentially like super powered heroes.
Yeah, it was 3 super soldiers. They need a better team.
Yeah, and Ghost. So really, only Yelena's the only one without a power, which that I feel like that helps her stand out more because she was getting tossed around in this movie like a little rag doll.
She was getting messed up.
We're not gonna speak on the fact that she's a human and was getting thrown into walls and buildings and cars and stuff and was perfectly fine. Was getting up and like ready to tussle some more. But we're not gonna speak on that because if they kept it realistic, one scene she would have been done. Done. But yeah, I think for me, Yelena, Red Guardian, John Walker, Ghost, Sentry, and then Bucky for me. So I think ours just switched with Sentry and Ghost.
Okay. All right, and before we get to we said a lot of good stuff. You feel what I'm saying? I think we're going to go more in discussion on the super spoiler review on Monday night. But what's some of the bad things that you didn't like about the movie? Like, what's the things you didn't like about it?
The only thing that I didn't like about the movie was the villain. And I'm not saying I did not like him as a villain, because I think him in future movies, spoilers, sorry guys, but him in future movies will be amazing.
Facts.
I think he's going to be a huge asset. Facts. I think he's
Hulk level.
He's Hulk level. He's God level. Because he even said it himself. He's like, I'm basically a god. And Val challenged him on that. He's like, you told me I'm more powerful than all of the Avengers combined, which includes a god, which includes Hulk. That's a very powerful being.
Facts.
But what I feel like they did was they had all this build up, especially given that what we saw in the trailer. We're like, oh, he's about to wreak havoc. Like, how are they going to beat him? And I don't really want to go into like that much of a spoiler.
How they beat him.
But how they beat him, all the build up just to show us the same exact scene that was in the trailer, y'all.
Too much of that.
Yeah,
too much of that.
Unfortunately, and I'll spoil this for you guys. If you're planning on seeing it, and you've seen any of the trailers that included Sentry in it, the villain, you've seen the whole scene.
You've seen important parts.
Yeah, like they're
really like a tad bit out of it.
And when we say a tad bit, maybe 2 minutes worth of like, oh, he did something extra, but it was literally what you saw in the trailer, and it was very disappointing because I just thought, based on the trailer, he was going to be a bigger threat than what he was. But when we talked about it today, I said that I guess they couldn't make him too much of a bad threat.
Yeah, they definitely couldn't. Too many normal people.
Yeah,
they'll never beat him.
He's fighting normal people.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, and they had to lower him down to their level, basically. And he's essentially going to be a good guy because he's part of the new Avengers.
Big spoiler alert.
But we kind of said it at the beginning of the show that, we finally have a new team, a new Avengers team. So
that is the spoiler alert. There is a new Avengers team.
Yeah. So he, they could, even though all of those people are killers, obviously, like Bucky and Yelena and Red Guardian, John Walker and Ghost, they're killers for sure. But on his level, what I feel like he could have done, he would have been way beyond any comparison.
Because there's a scene when they show he was whooping on all of them.
Yeah,
bad.
He showed them mercy. And so, which also, the Marvel villain one-on-one, you can't really be a real bad guy. You have to have something that is fueling you to be this bad guy, and then you end up having compassion or some understanding for the villain.
Was it a bad guy? When was the last thing we saw we was like, nah, it was a bad guy in this joint? Daredevil.
Yeah.
Kingpin was a real villain.
He's a bad guy. But the other guy who was in Daredevil, Muse, even him, he was a serial killer, bad guy, but he had like mental health issues. Yeah. Is that going to be the reoccurring thing in Marvel?
Dang. Kind of spoiler alert, this movie is like about mental health.
Yeah, like they kick it off, the first scene is about mental health.
So, I guess they are worried about the world's mental health really badly, which is understandable. But yeah, man, my only bad that I say from the movie, what I say was bad, honestly, was the third act, bro. Like, it felt like they just kind of rushed them to what they were about to be. And it was kind of obvious that they were trying to do that. Like, they're trying to make them the new Avengers, which is fine. You know what I'm saying? Which is a spoiler too. Just letting y'all know, we spoiled it. They're called the new Avengers. That's the only big spoiler I feel like we've done on this thing. But I just think the third act, we had some more.
Yeah, we had like the fact that he's a hero now. But
the third act was just not strong enough to carry how good the first two parts of the movie was.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, all right, how they gonna do this? And then it was obvious, and then the way they ended it, or how they figured it out was, I'm not gonna get too into details, but I'm gonna say this in my Vin Diesel voice: family. Family. In the Fast and Furious voice, family saves the day. But yeah, what would you give it a grade?
I gotta get ready to go get this.
Yeah, she gotta get ready to go. What would you give it a grade overall before you could get that? You did
a solid 8.5. Solid 8.5. Solid B plus. I could watch it again, no issues. Which I don't mind watching. Not in the movies. I don't want to sit in the movie theater and watch it. But I could definitely watch it on replay at home, no problem. Like, I think everybody should go see this movie. I think it's a breath of fresh air. I enjoyed
both Captain
America. They kicked it off good. They're keeping the momentum. They could have worked on the ending, but it wasn't a bad movie at all. Go see it. I think anybody could get like at least a good laugh and enjoy the story.
Good popcorn flip.
Yeah, for sure. It's a good, like, you ain't got nothing to do. Go see that.
And the multiverse stuff is over. Name a plot hole in the Thunderbolts. That's who we got. Hold on, y'all. Before we start, we're gonna name a plot hole in the Thunderbolts. Yeah, like something that's like a plot hole, like didn't make sense. Okay.
Besides the humans getting tossed around like rag dolls.
Okay, so here's some I saw for Screen Crush. So here's one thing they said: plot holes in the Thunderbolts. This is not a plot hole, but it's lame how U.S. Agent Story, spoiler alert, how U.S. Agent Story's family goes nowhere. And it never resolved. That's why when they did the little boy stuff and they showed that, I was like, damn, he was like only one that got a boy thing.
But that's why I think they had to make some trauma for him. They don't know the story, but we said that a lot of it was built on this movie was built a lot on mental health and traumas, and so his trauma was just his family. He didn't have any other trauma. I think that's why they just kind of threw it in there. I don't think they should have used him. I think they should have used Bucky.
Yeah.
They definitely should have used Bucky's traumas over him. But I guess we've also seen all of Bucky's traumas. They should have did Ghost. That's who they should have did.
Here's a good one right here. Have no idea how Ghost found Bobby, Elaine, and John Walker hiding when the government vehicles while wearing military gear when she never knew that was part of the plan.
That's true.
When did Ghost and Taskmaster start working for Val? We just saw everybody else in her. That is true. Like, it's a scene where they like, how did they end up working for her? It's too, and why was she getting impeached out of nowhere?
Yeah, they didn't elaborate on her. Besides the fact that she was.
Cheers.
It's my birthday month, y'all.
Birthday month.
May 24th. Don't forget.
May 24th. And also the biggest one. Where is Spider-Man?
Bro, leave me alone.
Bruh. Also as well, Val's being investigated. Yes, she managed to burn down a lab, move everything to a vault incarceration. The government doesn't notice. No bush.
But they didn't know.
She was, but I'm saying,
her stuff was.
but she should have been on surveillance. Like when she pulled up at the camp, they should be like, she at the camp wilding. For real. That's the echo. Okay, one more. Okay. I just don't want Bob to be powerless and then go after Doom or whoever has defeated everyone. Bob goes all century, then gives them a hug, and the good guys win.
That's what
that was you said. That was you said.
Alright, y'all. Sorry, this is gonna have to be a spoiler. Can you see if they can hear me okay from here? Or should it be?
Yeah. Hold on. Yeah. Hold on. Wait. I can check it. 1 second. Yeah. Hold on. Hold on. Wait. Go ahead. I can check it. 1 second.
So I'm testing this just to make sure they can hear me.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait. Go ahead. I can check it. 1 second.
So I'm testing this just to make sure they can hear me.
Yeah, and I can turn the volume up on my video when I edit it. So good.
So sorry, y'all. Spoilers, but Bob, aka Sentry, he has a lot of trauma. He's had a lot of issues throughout his life. And basically how they defeated him, this is super spoiler, so stop if you don't want to hear this. How they defeated him was with the power of friendship and love. Like,
Facts.
we joked about that, but it really was like family. Like, we're a team. You don't have to do this. We're here for you. I'm your friend. Like, it was a bunch of that to help beat him. And so that is very dangerous, that this all-powerful being, he's not predictable. And that's what Val's secretary kept saying, that he's not stable for what you're trying to do. Because how do you make sure that this person will do what he needs to do to save the universe?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know that evil Sentry won't take over? And now we're stuck with him.
That's a good question.
You know, like, and now he's turned on the good guys.
That's a good question.
We don't know about him. And I think, like, Bob, the actual human, is a good person. There's nothing wrong with that man. Like, I think he's in the heart gold. But Sentry, he might take everybody out on purpose.
Nah, no bullshit.
Like, good guys. But also, Sentry had compassion, because he was like, they're not even a threat to me. Why would I kill them?
Huh.
So whatever the villain that they have him fight throughout his time in the MCU, he had that, whoever it is has to be a threat to him.
They got to be a threat.
That he thinks that he's about to die.
They got to be a threat.
So
that was your own. That we agree with. It has to be another way to take down villains, like defeating them niggas. You hear me? The fuck? It's be giving me gut. Like, come on, man. But we about to go off camera for a second.